Donald Trump's entry into American politics was like an earthquake. He shook the foundations of the political system. Trump was unlike any politician before him. He was a businessman, a celebrity, and a master of self-promotion. He tapped into a deep well of anger and frustration in America. Trump's rise was unexpected. He was an outsider, a disruptor. He challenged the political establishment and won. His victory shocked the world and revealed a deep divide in American society. Trump's impact on American politics is undeniable. He changed the way campaigns are run and how presidents communicate. He also exposed deep divisions in American society. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump left his mark on America. His presidency was a tumultuous period in American history. His legacy will be debated for years to come. Donald Trump was a successful businessman before entering politics. He was known for his real estate empire and his flamboyant lifestyle. He was also a reality TV star, hosting the show The Apprentice. Trump's entry into politics was met with skepticism. Many dismissed him as a joke or a publicity stunt. He had no experience in government and a history of controversial statements. But Trump tapped into a growing sense of anger and frustration among many Americans. Trump campaigned on a populist message. He promised to make America great again by bringing back jobs and cracking down on immigration. He appealed to voters who felt left behind by globalization and ignored by the political elite. Against all odds, Trump won the 2016 presidential election. He defeated Hillary Clinton, one of the most qualified candidates ever to run for president. His victory stunned the world and ushered in a new era in American politics. Donald Trump's presidency was marked by controversy and division. He pursued an America First agenda, focusing on domestic issues and reducing America's global role. He withdrew the United States from international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal. Trump enacted significant tax cuts, primarily benefiting corporations and wealthy individuals. He appointed two conservative justices to the Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, shifting the balance of the court to the right. He also took a hard line on immigration, enacting policies like the Muslim travel ban and the separation of families at the border. Throughout his presidency, Trump was a polarizing figure. His supporters praised his business acumen and his willingness to challenge the status quo. His critics condemned his rhetoric as divisive and his policies as harmful. Donald Trump's success in politics was due in part to his ability to connect with a specific segment of the American electorate. He understood their anxieties and frustrations, speaking directly to their concerns. He used simple language and repeated his message relentlessly, appealing to their emotions. Trump cultivated a loyal base of supporters who admired his business success and his brash style. He presented himself as a political outsider, someone who would drain the swamp of Washington corruption. He used social media effectively, bypassing traditional media outlets and communicating directly with his followers. Trump's rallies became legendary, attracting thousands of enthusiastic supporters. He used these rallies to energize his base, attack his opponents, and promote his agenda. He created a cult of personality, casting himself as a strongman who could single-handedly fix America's problems. Section 5. The Republican Party after Trump, a party transformed. Donald Trump's influence on the Republican Party is undeniable. He reshaped the party in his image, pushing it further to the right. Under Trump, the Republican Party became more populist, nationalist, and skeptical of free trade. Trump's hold on the Republican base remains strong. Many Republican voters see him as a champion for their values and a fighter against the liberal elite. This has made it difficult for other Republicans to challenge him or his policies. The Republican Party is now divided between Trump loyalists and those who want to move on from his presidency. This division is likely to continue for years to come, shaping the future of the party and American politics. Section 6. Trump's America, a nation divided. Donald Trump's presidency exposed and exacerbated deep divisions in American society. His rhetoric on issues like immigration, race, and gender inflamed tensions and fueled polarization. His supporters saw him as a truth-teller, someone who was not afraid to speak his mind. Trump's critics saw him as a demagogue who was dividing the country. They pointed to his attacks on the media his demonization of immigrants, and his embrace of conspiracy theories as evidence of his dangerous influence. The Trump era was a time of intense political and social unrest. Protests and counter-protests became commonplace. The country seemed more divided than at any time since the Civil War. Section 7. The Cult of Personality. Trump as a populist icon. Donald Trump's success in politics was due in part to his ability to cultivate a cult of personality. He presented himself as a larger-than-life figure, a successful businessman and a master dealmaker. He used his celebrity status and his mastery of media to his advantage. Trump's supporters admired his confidence, his willingness to speak his mind, and his defiance of political correctness. They saw him as a strong leader who would fight for their interests. They overlooked his flaws and embraced his message. Trump's critics saw his cult of personality as dangerous and undemocratic. They argued that he was more interested in power than in governing. They feared that he was eroding democratic norms and institutions. Section 8. The Teflon Don Scandal and Resilience. Throughout his career, Donald Trump has been no stranger to scandal and controversy. He has been accused of sexual misconduct, financial impropriety, and shady business dealings. However, he has always managed to weather the storms and emerge relatively unscathed. Trump's supporters often dismiss the accusations against him as fake news or attacks from the liberal media. They believed that he was being unfairly targeted because he was an outsider who was challenging the status quo. Trump's ability to survive scandals and maintain his popularity baffled his critics. They argued that he was held to a different standard than other politicians. They worried that his Teflon Don persona was making it acceptable to normalize bad behavior. Section 9. Love him or hate him, the power of Trump's persona. Donald Trump's persona is a complex and contradictory one. He can be charming and charismatic one moment, then aggressive and insulting the next. He is a master of self-promotion and a relentless self-promoter. Trump's supporters are drawn to his confidence, his willingness to speak his mind, and his defiance of political correctness. They see him as a breath of fresh air in a world of stuffy politicians. Trump's critics are repelled by his narcissism, his bullying tactics, and his disregard for the truth. They see him as a threat to American democracy and a danger to the world. Section 10. The future of Trumpism. A movement beyond Trump? Even though Donald Trump is no longer in office, his influence on American politics is likely to be felt for years to come. The movement he unleashed, often referred to as Trumpism, has tapped into deep-seated anxieties and frustrations among a significant segment of the population. It is unclear whether Trumpism can survive without Trump himself as its leader. His charisma and his ability to connect with his base on an emotional level are difficult to replicate. However, the issues that he exploited, economic inequality, cultural anxiety, and political alienation, are not going away. The future of Trumpism will depend on whether another leader can emerge who can tap into these sentiments and channel them into a coherent political movement. It will also depend on whether the Republican Party can move beyond Trump or remains beholden to his legacy. Section 11. A legacy etched in stone, Trump's enduring impact. Donald Trump's presidency was a period of unprecedented turmoil and division in American history. His legacy will be debated for generations to come. His supporters will remember him as a strong leader who fought for their values and shook up the Washington establishment. Trump's critics will remember him as a demagogue who damaged American democracy and divided the country. They will point to his attacks on the media, his demonization of immigrants, and his embrace of conspiracy theories as evidence of his dangerous influence. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump left an indelible mark on American politics. He shattered political norms, exposed deep divisions in society, and raised profound questions about the future of American democracy.